Hi everyone, and welcome to another real driving test talk through. And here we are in Kettering. The candidates just left for their driving test, coming up to the end of Orion Way, turning right into Orion Way. I believe it's the same name. And the candidates following a Sat Nav straight away. So this is Sat Nav directing the candidate on where to go. Now the Sat Nav always says turn right here at the end, but that's a bend, and in this case the examiner did say just follow the road round to the right, although the Sat Nav said turn right. It's just a bend really. Candidate's doing okay up to now, and off we go. First roundabout as usual, we call this the McDonald roundabout. No one there, no one behind, left signal and a mirror to leave. Off we go, third exit straight over, and you can see on the sign it's Wellingborough. Oh, pedestrian, slow down for that. Good mirrors and then slow down. That was a good move by the candidate. So now we're just pulling on into the Tesco's roundabout to go straight on up the 509 third exit. Now just coming up over the roundabout there, the Sat Nav is telling the candidate to turn right on the next roundabout, and that becomes evident about now. But the candidate's not moved over to the right hand lane, so the examiner has actually been very helpful and told the candidate to move over to the right hand lane. So thank you, examiner. That was very, very nice of you. I don't know what the candidate, well, I've trained the candidate to go the wrong way if they're in the wrong lane. So I suppose the examiner just wanted to go the right way and keep on route. It's the fourth exit over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fifth exit over to the right. We're leaving on the A14 west just after this Pikes exit. So mirror, door mirror, moving over, accelerating into the new road, and it's a 60. The signs are saying we can choose a lane, adjoining or emerging, and the candidate's been very clever, as trained I might add, and sticking to the left lane where we don't have to do any hard work, just keep on going. Such a lovely relaxing drive there. It's a Sunday when this test was taken, believe it or not. Must be a bit of overtime, I guess, for the examiner. And we're leaving on the next exit. So we've got 300 yards. I think we're up to, there we go, 100 yards is done. And we're leaving on the slip road up to junction 8 where we're being asked to turn left there. So always check your speedo on the approach to the roundabout on the slip road, because a lot of the time you're going faster than you think after you've just left that dual carriageway. So we're going to be waiting here, and I do believe the candidate could have moved a little bit further up there, up to the line, would have been able to see a bit more, but missed an opportunity to go, but eventually gets off. Now unfortunately the first serious fault's coming up here. The candidate's failed to see the green light on the left and is responding, did a little jump there, and as is responding to the red light on the right and panics a little bit, slams the brakes, realises oh no, it's a green light, and off they go again. Now unfortunately the candidate hit the brakes quite hard. It's hard to see that in the video. That was a hard brake that the candidate did in panic. Try not to do a panic move in driving, especially on a driving test. There was a car behind, and I think that might have been a bit of a surprise for them. So the candidate really should have come down, see the green lights on the left, realises it was their light to carry on, and just carry on up the road. So that was the end of that that test. Unfortunately, I mean, the test went on obviously for the full time, but at that moment, that's when the candidate had failed the test, and I think they realised as well by that time. So it's very unfortunate, and you know, but these things happen, and you've just got to learn by your mistakes and just move on, you know, and go and do another one, go and do another test. There's no limit to how many tests you can do. Now the candidate's been asked to pull over to the left, and this is one of a couple of times, another flick there, this is one of a couple of times that examiners will ask candidates to pull over for various reasons. This is just to check the pulling over and moving off by the looks of it. There is a bus stop there, it might have been a check for that, for legality, make sure we're all going to be legal, and then the candidate's asked to move off again. Now unfortunately the second serious fault is picked up here. The candidate is asked to pull up behind the red car, leaving about half a car length in order to pull out again. And the purpose of that is just to watch the candidate do an angled start. Unfortunately the candidate got a little bit confused and thought that the examiner was asking the candidate to do a parallel park, of which the examiner was not doing that. So unfortunately the candidate stopped in the middle of the road, and the examiner said that they'd not checked the rear mirror before doing so, and that there, and just by stopping in the middle of the road for no apparent reason in the examiner's eyes is in itself a serious fault. The candidate did pull over to the left, as you can see, and then did complete the angled start manoeuvre as required in the driving test, but unfortunately the examiner said that the candidate should have really looked at the mirror and probably not just stopped in the middle of the road. So there was a bit of confusion there, but these things happen on tests once again, and we just live and learn by our mistakes, and off the candidate goes. That's the second serious fault in the test today. A little bit of an amusing moment here, turning right into this road, following a tractor with loads of people in the back. It's for the coronation day, the day after coronation day, and this is some sort of party going on in the village, and they're all in the back of a tractor having a little tour around the village. We're actually closer to it than it looks, so it's a wide-angled lens this, and the candidate's wondering what to do because this tractor is going very slowly. So at one point the candidate asked the examiner whether they should overtake the tractor. Well, the examiner's not going to answer that question because it's up to the candidate what they do. So the examiner simply replied by, just do what you think is safe. So the candidate just stayed put behind the tractor, pulling all the villagers around. That you couldn't really get around that anyway. There's no room and you can't see, and any moment now we're going to go into a 30. So the candidate's going to be asked to pull over on the left again, and when it's safe, find a convenient place to park on the left. And I do feel the candidate's parking a little bit close to this blue car and narrowing the road a little bit unnecessarily. I wouldn't have parked there myself. I would have parked before, because the candidate has narrowed the road. And I wouldn't have thought that was a great place to park. So luckily the car could get through, and when it's safe, just move on up the road. So don't forget your blind spot check. Candidate was very good at blind spot checks, and off we go. Candidates doing really well down the country lanes, not driving too slow, not driving too fast, keeping to the left of the white line where possible. And the candidate's not been along this road before, so it's the first time the candidate had actually driven along this road. Not that it should make any difference, because it shouldn't, but yeah, the candidate did a really good job here, I thought. So obeying all the signs, there's a slow sign there, so the candidate went slow, and Yeah, not much to say really, is there? It's just a country lane, and it's quite a very much a rural route today. Excuse the skipping of the footage. It's because the camera kept thinking there was an event and re-recording over certain parts of the road, but it's really not worth the hours and hours to remove them, so we just keep them on. So anyway, yeah. Oh well, let's enjoy the view, shall we? Well, I hope you enjoyed that lovely drive through the countryside. The candidate did really, really well on those rural roads, but now we're back into the urban roads again in the towns. And this is Gypsy Lane in Kettering, and the examiner's going to ask the candidate to park it up on the right hand side for a reversing to the right manoeuvre. And I thought the candidate left it a bit long before pulling over, but eventually did. And then the exercise is parking up on the right hand side and then reversing back about 2 car lengths and then moving off safely. So the candidate's just been told to do this and is now looking for somewhere, driving on a little bit far. Could have pulled over sooner than they did. I think, to be fair, I think the instructions come about now. So even before the bus stop. But the candidate just kind of drifted on a bit more and then came over to the right, probably a bit close to the bend as well. Maybe maybe a bit sooner would have been better. But they've stopped and check everywhere. Been told to reverse back about 2 car lengths, keeping reasonably close to the curb on your side, please. So just keeping an eye on the right blind spot here, because there are driveways behind and we don't want to be surprised by someone coming out the drive from behind when we're reversing backwards on the right hand side of the road. And the candidate only really needs to wait for oncoming cars. Cars coming from the behind we don't need to stop for unless they're coming over to our side. So stop for the red one, that was a good move. And any more? Oh, I think that was enough for the examiner. The examiner was quite happy with that, and then told the candidate just to carry on, please, and move off when you're ready. So we're just waiting for these two, and then hopefully we should be off. Another park up here, just to test parking and pulling off again. Mirror, and off we go. Check the blind spot, everything was good, and up to the end of the road to turn right. We're kind of on our way back now towards the test centre, so this test route is nearly over. Now this was quite interesting. The candidate wasn't told where we were exiting, but decided to stay in the left lane anyway. There are some gantry signs coming up telling people to pick a lane for junction 9 or Kettering, or to go straight on towards Huntingdon. But the candidate just stayed left and the examiner didn't say anything. So, oh, there's another skip in the video. And then, so the examiner eventually at this point said, just stay in this lane. Proceed on this lane was the phrase that the examiner used. Proceed on this lane as we are taking the next exit. Now you can see this lane's turned into a slip road anyway, so I wonder what would have happened if the examiner wanted the candidate to go straight on towards Huntingdon. I wonder if at what point they would have given that instruction. But here we are anyway. We're just on a slip road. We're leaving because of that. We've merged into the slip road and we're going to take the next left there and straight back down the hill to the test centre. Well, I hope this video was helpful and educational and showed you the kind of routes and what the roads are like on a driving test in the UK. Unfortunately, the candidate was unsuccessful in this occasion due to those two faults we mentioned earlier. Also picked up a couple of minor faults here and there, or what we call driving faults these days, for various reasons, mirrors and signals and things like that. But those were the two serious faults, and we're just coming into the bay where the examiner will end the test and give feedback to the candidate. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the little bell icon so you know when I put up more videos. Thank you so much. Goodbye.